Repeat that for the for everyone else, please, Tony. What you just said? What just awful, heinous thing that you just said to us?
Sometimes I like strange combinations of foods.
This isn't a strange combination of food. This is a sin. Would you like to tell everyone what it is?
I mean, I like peanut butter on fried chicken.
That is not what I said. That is not what you
I'm
said.
coming back to the other one.
You're trying to make it sound
I do
better.
like nacho cheese on Snickers bars. Now, my ex-stepfather, he liked pinto beans and chocolate cake. That is a sin.
Explain to me right now how pinto beans and chocolate cake.
You know how when you put cornbread in a bowl of beans?
Oh.
It was chocolate cake in lieu of cornbread. Oh. It looked like diarrhea.
Oh.
I love it.
I even tried a bite, and it was heinous.
And it looks like that's where it came from, too.
Yeah, his anus.
Do you like peanut butter and pickle sandwiches?
I've not tried that, but peanut butter is also good in chili.
I have
What?
had that. It just makes it creamier.
Yeah. You use a big old scoop of peanut butter, some cheese, and some hot sauce.
I use almond butter.
I only do all of that if it's subpar chili.
I use almond butter
Sorry,
for a
Becky.
lot of things.
Becky's my sister. She makes bad chili.
Ooh, hot topic there.
Bad chili Becky.
Well, I mean, it's not horrible chili, but she drains the hamburger and then puts it in the rest. You don't do that. You put the grease in there. That's where all the flavor is.
It's a big greasy meat bean soup. You need all of that.
Exactly.
That's all very
Exactly.
useful ingredients.
Yeah, it's an easily fixable thing.
Stop putting nacho cheese on your Snickers bars.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
I've not done that since like youth group, but it was good. It shouldn't have been, but baby, it was.
Hey everybody, I'm Dane Holland, and we ta Kalulu.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and you gotta exhale, baby.
I'm Marcus, the space tourist known as I'm Electric Man.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and I'm saying words right now.
And for the next hour,
Yes, on a podcast of four best friends gathered together to talk about past, present, and future nerd culture called Nerd It Through the Grapevine. Yeah! I did good.
bonks with your microphone. at the
Finked your
end.
bonker when you finked your lonker.
That's the old canon sound.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
They fired the old cannons on this episode.
Welcome to Nerd It Through the Grapevine, as Tiny just said. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a blast, and we're going to have a good time. In that order.
Yeah.
Oh no! I forgot the order. Is this going to be on the test?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Shit!
Yep.
Fun, blast, good time.
So a number one combo is a blast from the past. It is the movie Back to the Future. It is both past and present and used to be future nerd culture, but we have passed the year 2015. It is one of my favorite movies. I love the first one. I love the second one, and I even love the redheaded stepchild of the third one because the nostalgia factor is real. I used to watch all of them with my father, who is no longer with us, and we watched them together, and they were great, and we loved them. And I'm just gushing about the movies, man. If you haven't seen them, you need to watch them because, I mean, they're inundated into so many things throughout our culture. You know, because you've got Marty McFly. You know, he's, what's his real name?
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. He's in it. He's the main character, man. And you got Doc Brown, which that's his real name. Nobody knows any other name for Doc Brown because you see him in other movies and you're like, yeah, Doc Brown played so-and-so. Well, he gets a DeLorean made by DMC, which they've brought it back recently, which is kind of bizarre. And the director of the movie loved the car, so he wanted that in there. That's why that's there. And he used the DMC DeLorean to make a time machine to where in the first movie they travel back to 1955 when they reached 88 miles per hour. Why 88, you ask? I don't know.
It's the year I was born. That's why.
Possibly. And they did things that both hurt and then healed the timeline. It's a fantastic movie. And in the second one, they go into the future and the alternate future, and they do things there. In the third one, they go back to the past yet again, but they go to cowboy times. You know how I know they go to cowboy times? Because there's cowboys in it. And at one point, like if you ever see a cowboy in your room in the middle of the night, the first thing you need to ask him is this cowboy times?
Giddy up.
Yeah.
It's time for cowboy time.
Exactly.
So just in case you're transported accidentally to cowboy times via portal or some kind of like dimensional rift, you got to find out like, all right, am I in cowboy times right now?
Or in like the Westworld
exactly.
computer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Christopher Lloyd was the name you were looking for.
Doc Brown. Yeah, thank you.
Those are shoes.
Dr. Emmett Brown.
Back to the Future. So that's just a play on they're already in the past, so they're like we got to get back to the future of this time.
Well, a lot of times they get stuck in the past. So
Beans.
part of the adventure is them fixing the time machine so they can get back to the future.
Right.
Yeah, because they're stuck in the past.
And,
Yeah.
and also, it begs to the question, did Back to the Future create Huey Lewis, or did Huey Lewis create Back to the Future? The power of love is a curious thing.
Is that the guitar scene where the guy's on the phone and is like, "You gotta hear this"?
No, that's
something different.
That's something different.
That's totally different.
That's like the entirety of the background of all the movies, at least at more than one point throughout the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Huey Lewis and the News have a song playing. The Power of Love is on there. You've got there's another one. I want a whole new drug. That's on there somewhere.
Well, I think they used the Power of Love for like the opening credit scene, if I remember correctly. Did they not?
Yes, I think that, and also they a little bit on the nose, but they said we're gonna go back in time.
Yeah. And Johnny Be Good is in there.
That's true. That was the one that he played. This is your cousin Marvin Berry, Chuck Berry.
Yeah. One thing that I learned today in my little bit of research, when they released the soundtrack for this movie, they released it on vinyl, they released it on cassette tape, and they also released it on CDs. And because the movie came out in 1988, the first one did. And I was like, how long have CDs been around? They've been around since the 80s, man. That boggled my mind hole. I'm like, seriously?
I didn't realize that.
No, I didn't either.
What, the CDs were in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was like a early '90s thing because
Don't
I grew
blink
up.
and nod your head like you knew that,
He
Mark.
knew.
I did, dude.
He
My
did know.
dad's like an audiophile. He knows.
What's your
this
mouth?
stuff.
Is he registered?
Is he on the registry?
Oh God.
He scratched someone's CD and
That's
brought
not
that
what I meant.
There's a Bose registry of audio files on the website.
Yeah.
So they had to reach 88 miles per hour, and the movie came out in the year 88.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's why. That's got to be why, right?
That's oversimplification.
Yeah, but you got to have some of that when you're talking about time travel.
Well, I feel like they wanted that you had to reach a fast speed because obviously to travel in time, you can't be going slow. And they're like, what's a good round number? Well, we all know that the number 8, I almost said letter, the number 8 is the sexiest number. We all know that.
because of her curves.
It was established on Mabim Bam because it's got
I
curves
think
and
7.
2 holes.
I think 7's pretty good.
No,
Never
8.
knew I had to use Tiny's hot horn on a number.
I was quoting Mabim Bam, your favorite podcast.
True.
So that wasn't
Tied
my
for my
opinion.
favorite podcast.
The soundtrack to the movies almost, I think, attracts me as much as the actual movies themselves do. Like, the only ones that aren't as good to me are, like, I mean, it is the redheaded stepchild, as you said, but the third one, it doesn't have all those kind of songs. It's more or less like that mouth harp, like that.
Because it's cowboy times.
They're in
Yeah.
Cowboys times.
Yes, cows.
I don't know why I added an extra S, but I dig it.
Technically,
now.
they couldn't survive on just one, so you're correct. You're
Right.
being correct about this.
And somehow, I don't know how they got the train that was coal powered to go 88 miles per hour.
Oh, they had extra magnesium and extra different kinds of burning accelerants to burn
They
hotter.
also made it fly. A
They-
train.
What?
A whole choo-choo train.
Well,
Did
that's-
Choo-Choo
It
Train
was at the
flew?
end of the movie, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The train had its components that were made to be able to actually go that speed and then be able to break through that barrier. So once they broke through that barrier, then the train was able to break through the time barrier. As it's falling, it falls into the future where it lands. And then they can get new technology for it there in the future. And then they can come back to the past at the end of the movie and be like, Marty, we were able to turn a train into a plane and then it's back into a car. It's another movie from the 80s.
It's Thomas the Train Transforming guy.
Yeah,
It is.
It's the Morphin Zord guy.
Yeah.
I've never seen the second or the third Back to Future
What?
movies. I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Are we going to have an
Tiny.
intervention? What is wrong with you?
Our former president was in the second movie. Biff was basically Donald Trump in the second
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like, legit, more or less, Biff was Donald Trump.
Because I don't know why the first one didn't catch me like as much as I had hoped it would.
Yeah, didn't...
Oh, dude, the part where him and his mom flirt.
Oh
Yeah.
dude. I was all about it. I don't know why I didn't watch the next one.
It's just like, kissing my brother.
yeah, but, I mean... I don't want to say it.
Don't. Whatever's about to
I
happen.
want to say it, but I don't want to say it because I know the consequences of me saying it.
Hold on.
Tiny,
I'm going to take
is it worth it? Think about it.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, if it's worth it.
I don't know if it's worth it, but she's pretty hot.
Damn it, Marcus.
I thought that
He
was...
know what you're talking
he
about.
opened the gateway
Hey,
for you.
Hey,
Hey,
that's Tiny's hot horn, not Marcus's hot horn.
he's mad that you horned me.
Yeah, I didn't want to be horned.
I'm supposed
but
to
you
only-
horned him.
I didn't think you'd get jealous of me horning other guys, but I'll just horn you from now on.
So
Did get jealous?
Rick from Rick and Morty has to be somewhat based on Doc Brown.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The white coat, the hair, just the way he speaks sporadically.
I think
Yes.
it's mainly the hair.
like
It's so good.
Doc Brown was so much more eloquent than Rick.
no,
True.
he was not.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not, because if
He
you
also
actually
had the
watched
dog named Einstein.
if you had actually watched that second movie, you would realize that Doc Brown was a drunk in his earlier years,
well, yeah, he was, obviously.
because he was drunk on top of the toilet when he fell and hit his
Yeah,
head and thought up
yeah.
the idea for the
but then,
flux capacitor.
But then he changed his life.
Exactly.
He got it together and made a time machine and befriended a young man.
Small boy.
Almost a small boy, but he was a young man. He was a teenager, not quite a grown man, and they went on adventures through time.
And that
And-
freaking hover skateboard.
yeah.
And
We need that.
hoverboard. We have hoverboards.
Yeah, they're not that.
And they
though.
had that
No,
diner
not
in
that.
the diner that had the
shark.
No, not the shark. No,
It
they
did
had-
have the holographic shark.
that was the movie theater that was playing Jaws
Oh,
like
yeah,
12.
yeah, you're right.
No, but it was it was the diner that was a throwback to the 80s, and
Yeah.
like Michael Jackson was on a TV screen that floated next to you, and it just took your order. And
So the hoverboard, that wasn't in the first one? Was that in the second one?
Second.
Second.
Second
I
one, because they go to
have
the
seen
future.
the second
You
one
have
then. I
seen
just
the
don't
second
remember
one.
anything about it except for the cool hoverboard. Which one had the poofy shoes?
Second one.
Second one.
Did the first one have anything cool besides the car?
the
No.
song.
There was the whole, scene to catch the lightning. That was cool.
Earth Angel,
Yeah.
Earth
Yeah.
Angel,
That's a good song.
please be mine.
Yeah. And the Johnny Be Good part was pretty awesome.
So the music really is a big part of this movie, isn't
It
it?
really is. I mean, pop culture as well, because if you think back to the original Back to the Future, you're going to be having Marty McFly dressing up in a costume and portraying himself as a Star Wars character. because they don't have anything to depict Star Wars, so he's doing this to convince somebody else that he's an alien and he should listen to him.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. For a second, I'm like, what are you talking about?
He calls himself Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
He dresses himself inside of an old school radioactive suit that's meant to be in case Russia bombed us or in case Cuba bombed us during the Cold War era. And then you're gonna put that on, and he goes into his father's bedroom whenever his father was a teen.
It wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It was his father. You're right. I'm sorry.
To convince his father to work up the courage to ask his mother to go to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was this in the first one?
Yes.
Maybe I've never seen that.
He was
one.
his own wingman.
He was.
Like, he was starting to disappear while he was playing the git fiddle.
Oh.
You know, he looks at his hand and like blinks in and out, and then he looks at the picture and his whole family's disappearing.
Yep.
And he's like, Dad, for the love of God, kiss Mom. You know, I mean, he didn't say it, but he's
Right.
like thinking, like he's like looking at him, and you know, like he set up the whole scenario of his mom in the car. He was going to be making unwanted advances, and his dad was I'm going to save the day. Well, for whatever reason, Marty wasn't there, and it was Biff instead. So he punches Biff right in the kisser, and he's like, I saved you. And he was like, oh my God, I hit the bully in the mouth. So you get the whole nerdy guy beats up, defends the lady in distress and becomes the hero and gets the girl.
And the only reason it worked out that way is because Marty was too big of a wimp to pursue the real option of just banging his mom and procreating his genetics that way.
That's gross. This ain't Pornhub. We're talking about Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because you mentioned Cowboy Time earlier.
Yeah, that was the third one, Cowboy Times.
Okay.
yeah, and that was
So-
That one.
The
counts.
Cubs almost won the World Series in 2015, and everybody was freaking out because Back to the Future had predicted that was going to happen.
I think they did win it in
2016.
I want to say the second one.
They were a year late.
Yeah. They appeared on Jimmy Kimmel on Back to the Future Day, the day that was in the movie. They appeared on the show dressed in character, driving one of the DeLoreans from the movie.
That's
Which,
awesome.
Yeah, most of the cars of the DeLorean from the movie just, were left to just go to ruin and just horribleness. Well, one of them was dredged up from somewhere, and a crowdfunding thing happened. $78,000 was spent to recreate the movie DeLorean with a movie scene used DeLorean, and that's what they drove on stage for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Cool.
That is cool.
That's really cool.
Also, isn't there some conspiracy theories about Back to the Future?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, me neither. I was hoping you did.
Ah, dang.
Maybe a future topic.
Maybe
Maybe.
we can make up our own.
Well, I mean,
Nobody would do that.
As soon as you think of a few things that might have
Nintendo.
coincidentally happened, oh God, not the Nintendo. I wondered if anybody, at least none of our audience, had tried to purchase one of those for somebody and then got upset when they found out later on in the episode that it was actually a lie.
That's when I lied?
Yeah.
I'll tell the truth now, though, about Furbies. If you
Oh,
guys want to learn about Furbies, Marcus, this one's for you.
Have we had this conversation before? Or
Nope.
was it just us as just people?
It was just we've talked about Furbies. Probably, I think it's pretty much part of
you and
our
I
culture.
Had a Furby convo at the shop.
Right.
That's what it was.
And we've seen many pictures of Furbies attached to one another to make long Furbies, and that's a whole subculture.
They were sharing them on our Discord.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If
There was
people
a
were
bunch
part
of
that,
them.
they'd be
Yeah.
able to see all this.
Bring back the long Furbies.
So I'm going to talk about Furby, and Furby is a town in Sweden. But I'm not going to talk about the town in Sweden. They had to change Furby, the toy, had to change their name to Furbee in Furby, Sweden, because they couldn't have them named Furby Furbies. For whatever reason, I guess people couldn't tell the distinction between a like little mechanical made up creature in a town while they were in Sweden. But
I often confuse towns with fuzzy toys.
true. The Furby is an American electronic robot toy that was originally released in 1998 by Tiger Electronics, and it resembles a hamster or owl-like creature.
Hamster owl.
It is
so
kind
both
of
predator and prey in the same.
At the same time.
So wait, Joe Exotic made not only the Gigapet, but the Furby as well?
He might have. He might have been behind it. But you'd have to ask Dave Hampton and Caleb Chung if he was a part of it, because they spent 9 months designing the toy and creating Furby as well. So 18 months altogether. It took over a year to think of this thing and to make it. I can't tell. I can't. It's so weird though. Like, I can't tell if 18 months is like, wow, that's really quick to come up with something so amazing, or wow, it took you 18 months to come up with something so stupid. Like, I can't figure out what it is.
Surely they just had to design like the actual, like how it was going to work.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot like a Mogwai from the Gremlins movies.
Honestly.
They made a actual Mogwai Furby.
They made several.
Hold on a second. Hold
You
on a
need
second.
to fix
I'm
that.
gonna first off, make it, and I'm smacking it because I'm going back to what I said. They made a Mogwai Gizmo Furby, and that is legitimate. You can look that up, and it's cute as can be.
Have any of you come in contact with a Furby out in the wild?
Like, my sister had one a long time ago. She had a few.
My brother had one too.
I had 3.
He brought it to my house one weekend because he was my step sibling, and so you know how this works. Every other weekend, they're at your house. Well, when he was at my house, we shared a bedroom, and he brought his Furby, and I'm like, ooh, because we were both young boys, and I'm like, oh, cool, it's a fuzzy Furby, and you can like poke it, and it does things, and after about 30 seconds to a minute, I'm kind of over the Furby.
It's not over you,
And it did not have an off switch. And I ended up getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and putting it in the closet in the hopes that it would stop making its noise because it's the middle of the night. And it's like,
I had to do the same thing because in the next room, my sister's room was across the hall from mine when we were at my dad's house, and it would be so loud in there making those sounds that I had to go in there and put it in the closet, under a bunch of clothes.
Furbies, they'll talk to each other too. So since you had multiple, they would didn't they talk to each other?
Well, they eventually did once they went through different iterations.
See, I never saw them do anything that impressive.
Have you ever seen one's batteries die while they're talking?
It sounds like a demon.
It really does, and it's terrifying.
It's actually wonderful because I had 2 Furbies at one time. One was a Rockstar Furby. It had a guitar that was attached to it.
My God.
Shut up, Marcus. Shut up, Marcus.
He's jealous.
What's wrong with you?
He wants it. He's
Why don't
jealous.
you go read a book or something? You
nerd.
Freaking nerd.
I mean, I can't help that I think that's hilarious.
Freaking nerd.
Okay, you should be
Nerd.
honored.
And the other Furby that I had had a college hat on. And
College Furby and Rockstar Furby.
and they were together,
was
and they lived in the same area in my bedroom. And it's the alternate paths. And this is the thing: one of the college path Furby did die first. So you have one. You have Rockstar Furby over there. For real. And you got the other Furby over there, like. Kill them. And it's scary, but it's also like you're watching the old ones pass. Yeah. So because that other Furby, the college Furby, was the first one that I got. Just because we used to those. By the way, kids, this was the beginning time that eBay started showing its true colors, because you could get on eBay and get about any kind of Furby that you wanted as long as you had that cheddar. And I'm talking about money, not the actual cheese, because that's a different kind of form of payment on some websites, but not on eBay.
Have you seen the price of Furbies now?
That is not a conversation that I've had yet, but give me.
Well, here's why. Back in the infancy of our Discord, pictures of long Furbies began to surface.
I know, I was there.
So I wanted to get a dead Furby to make a long Furby just to have. And so I looked up prices, and even the busted ones, a lot of them were going for like $100. And I'm like, I'm not paying $100 for a dead ass Furby to make a long Furby.
I bet that
it's not worth it.
I bet I've still got either Rockstar or College Furby in a box.
Oh, why aren't they in the grape sack with us?
Because
they need to be here.
Because they're in my. There's so much stuff at the toy chest in my mom's house, and it's also lived in the garage for more years than I can remember.
I'm gonna call her.
So all we got to do is we'd be able to go over to the house, and hell, there'd probably be some Power Rangers stuff in there, probably some Ghostbusters, some Transformers. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff in there, but at the same time too, you're gonna have to fist fight the spiders to get to it, and they're the size of crabs that get in there. And I'm not talking about the crotch ones; I'm talking about the beach ones, because you can see these ones from they'll run across the yard at you.
The original Furby was actually $35 off the shelf, and they quickly came out of stock. Over 40 million Furbies were sold during the first 3 years of its original production.
God,
That's stupid. That's Wikipedia numbers, but it's got to be real, right?
One more time.
Well, it's because everybody had to buy
million.
2, because you have to see if they actually did talk to each other.
Yeah,
Right.
because that was one of their main marketing campaigns was that, you set them close to each other. They can communicate, and then it'll show them bouncing back and forth on their little rotator rockers they were on.
And none of them had a freaking off switch.
Yeah,
Or even an internal clock to know, hey, it's early in the morning. Maybe I should keep my mouth shut and go to sleep.
and to keep the battery door closed, there was no latch. There was a screw plate. So if you wanted to remove the batteries, you had to have tools. It wasn't just it wasn't a pop plate back there where you could just put your thumb in there and be like, all right, take out these batteries for now.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
I bet there's some if we really scoured the internet, we could find some haunting Furby stories.
Yes.
Or-
we need to do that.
or
We do need
recordings.
to.
I want a
The
haunted
haunting
Furby.
of the Furbies.
I want a haunted Furby, haunted dolls on eBay, but it's a Furby.
Yes.
Put it in one of those weird dresses.
Yeah.
They're a lot easier to acquire now, with more money, of course, because they're, would they be vintage toys at this point?
Of course,
I think
because
so,
that's
yeah.
going to be over
don't know.
20-something years.
But, whenever they first came out, they were so hard to get a hold of that, there were, parental battles, arguments, and fights, increasing rapidly because of the dwindling supplies of these stupid little Furbies. And let's see, during one 12-month period, a total of 27 million Furbies were sold.
Oh, yeah.
During one full year, 27 million. That's dumb. Why? It's dumb.
I
It's
wish there
stupid.
was 27 million off switches to go with them.
Well, man, that offset the price. Oh, hold on. That was almost too good. Offset the
Okay.
price.
Yeah.
But the sales don't surprise me at all because people get in fist fights over these things.
Oh, yeah.
That was some of those mall craze videos that you watch. They get on the repeats every year around the holidays. Is it going to be this way again around Christmas? That's what it is every year. It's is it going to be another Furby's released?
Oh my God.
It's like having Disney animatronics at the house.
Well, and we talked about them talking,
Small world after all.
oh no, they them being able to talk was the big pull to them, and people thought oh man, are they they can listen to you and learn and things like that and speak differently. That's not exactly what it was. So they started speaking entirely in Furbish, which was the name of their language that they spoke, and over time. The programming would replace Furbish with, for us in the States, English. So the longer that it was active, the more that it would start replacing its Furbish words with English words. But it would still have only the so many phrases that it could say. It wasn't you speak to it and eventually it's learning whatever language you're speaking and then speaks it back like a parrot.
So would it pick up phrases that you said?
No. There was no, the only microphone in it could only hear, a loud sound, and that's how it would react. It could hear a sound and react and speak, but it would be doing its own thing.
Well, no, what I'm saying is when it learned English.
It was programmed into it for it to eventually have English replace Furbish.
Okay, so the phrases that it would say was already programmed in.
Yes, correct.
Oh, man.
They in the voice commands, at least of the 2005 Furbies, whenever they were remade, they've been remade a bunch of times, but in the 2005 ones, here's some Furbish. We're going to play a little game where I'm going to speak Furbish, and I'm going to see if you guys know what that means.
No.
Yep, we're going to do it. And I'm going to do it in the Furby voice. Weetakalulu. What does that mean?
I have to pee.
Very close. It's tell me a joke. Weetakawilu. But very much like the first
Tell
one.
me a story.
Yeah. That's it.
Marcus, are you a Furby?
No, really, that's it. It's tell me a story. What in the
Furby
world?
wearing a human skin?
Okay, Marcus, what about Weeti Kawati?
Weeti karate?
No, Weeti Kawati.
I have to poop.
No, it's sing me a song.
Dang
You're
it.
way off again.
Now he's
You're gonna
trying to
get
throw
there.
us off from the fact that he's a Furby in a man suit.
Uni lula de.
I'm 7 Furbies in a man suit.
Uni lule do.
Une luludu?
Uni lule do means do you want to play?
No, thank you.
Uni ate do is are you hungry?
Oh, yeah.
Uni bodu is how are you? Uni we to niwe is go to sleep now. That one, that's a little scary. If I lay down at night and I hear uni we lo niwe, I'm going to be a little afraid.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's the thing of nightmare. Uniway, Lonyway?
Yeah, at least that's the way it's spelled on here is very strange.
So, Uniway, Lonyway.
Marcus,
So you got
That's if the batteries
It's
are
the
dying.
alien invasion that we didn't even know that we wanted, and we probably don't want.
No, Marcus, how tall are you? This is pertinent to the
8.
conversation.
At least 8 Furbies tall.
That's what I'm calculating. How tall are you?
I'm probably at least 12 Furbies tall.
No. I have got the specs on a Furby. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'10" and a half.
5'10". So 5 times 12 is 60. Plus, said 5'10" plus 10 so
And a
that's-
half.
Wow, what happened?
We're rounding. So that's 70 inches.
What is going on?
A Furby is 6 inches tall. So you're 11.6 repeating Furby's tall.
So you're 11 and a half Furbies.
Conveniently, I'm 11 bananas tall. I don't know how this played out that we're both 11 things, but
Tall. Yeah.
yeah.
It's meant to be. The NSA at one point would not allow Furbies on the premises of any of their facilities because they thought that they could record things and store that knowledge inside of their little Furby brains.
Oh my
And
Agent Furby.
yeah. The creator was like, dude, no. Like, the only thing that they can hear is a single monotonous beep if a loud sound is produced around a Furby. Like, that's the only thing that it registers is a beep. So that way it knows, like, oh, start talking. Like, there's something around.
Look,
But that is more evidence to support my theory that they are actual alien invaders.
I mean, then why would they go off in the middle of the night? If there was a loud sound,
Things go
I
bump in the
would've
night,
woke
baby.
up too.
They were trying to telepathically influence your dreams, much like Bigfoot.
Wait, are you saying that a Furby is an infant Cthulhu?
I'm not saying it's not.
Wow.
What if Infant Sukalu? Infant Sukalu. That is the...
That's Furbish.
That's Furbish for baby.
Do the Teletubbies play a part in this? Because I feel like they're a lot similar. Like they speak a very similar language.
I don't enjoy.
They speak Tubbanese, and I don't think Furbish and Tubbanese.
They remind me a lot of each other.
They probably
taste the same on my tongue.
What's that taste like?
Yeah.
If you could
Some
compare
sort of gelatinous fat, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
No
not very
flavor.
good.
Are the colors different flavors like M&M's? Wait, was that your mouth or was that your bungus?
No,
Because I wasn't even looking.
he took his mic off, put it to his bungus, and ripped it off, and now he's got to talk into it. What an idiot!
I'll just be louder.
I've got 2 more Furby things to talk about. One, in 2016, the Weinstein Company announced they were writing a live-action and CGI Furby movie.
Oh my God!
But they went bankrupt, and when Lantern Entertainment bought them, they haven't said anything about reviving those plans to make the live-action Furby movie. So imagine what we got with Sonic, but with Furbies.
I wish it was literally
sexy
just
Furby.
live action Furbies. Literally them just filming Furbies on a coffee table.
Yeah,
We
they have
could do
that.
that.
It's called Paranormal Activity.
We could do. Oh yeah, that's true. And recently, actually, in this past year, in 2021, there was a movie on. I think it was a Netflix original called the Mitchells versus the Machines. A great movie. Actually, it was a lot of fun. They're at one point they're in a toy store, like in the mall, and in this movie, everything that has electronics in it has come to life. So they go into this toy store that has a bunch of Furbies, like they've resurfaced and everything, and they're coming out brand new. And this specific mall has the world's largest Furby behind the screen, this glass screen. So as all the Furbies are starting to do their chanting and stuff, the big giant one knocks its way out of the glass, and it speaks in Furbish, but it's translated on the bottom of the screen, and it says, "Let the dark harvest begin." And it chases after the family, and there's a big, really fun scene. So they really play on the fact that we're like, yeah, Furbies are evil, but yeah, I just really wanted you guys to know more about Furbies.
I have an interesting Furby fact.
Please.
The YouTube creator Dave Days holds the world record for the most Furbies driven in a car. That number is 132. The stipulation was they all had to be alive and active.
Oh no!
That's chaos.
That man drove down the street with 132 of them talking demons crammed in a 4-door sedan.
How long did he have to drive? He should have had to go cross country.
I mean, I think he went like down. He was trying to set a couple. He was like the most Furbies in a car and the most coffee shops visited by Furbies. Yeah, you can look it up. It's weird.
Well, speaking of Furbies, nobody sets up my transitions.
What?
I'm
Marcus,
sorry,
I didn't know.
sometimes you gotta
let us know. Like point
I
at us.
don't
if
know,
you-
you know,
like
like
okay.
you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
okay.
you
It's
know,
okay.
you gotta
It's
raise
okay.
them up for
It's
some
okay.
prices.
Or you
Stop
can
it.
pantomime some volleyball over
Shoot,
there,
dude.
or
It's all right.
anything.
I'm feigning disdain. It's fake.
What
okay?
about
I
that,
do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate you guys. Okay, so I don't know. Billionaires have been just launching themselves into space lately.
It's something they do now.
I know, but it's kind of lame in a way, but it's kind of really cool too, because I mean, that's the future. I mean, it's gonna be happening more and more and more. They've already sold like millions and millions of dollars worth of tickets. I don't really think anybody knows what they're charging even at this point. But I think that's what when Jeff Bezos went up to space and his
Hitachi magic wand.
yes, his phallic shaped.
His wife's Hitachi magic wand.
He had to design it after something.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, so he comes back and he's talking about like, you know, the experience and how like we need to get these like heavy industries like off of the planet and like just put them in space. Like, you know, I don't know how you manufacture stuff, but you know, all these like industries that are polluting and stuff like that could maybe not in our lifetime be taken actually off the planet, like just outside of our atmosphere to where it wouldn't do so much damage. You know?
I mean, that's an interesting idea.
How do you get? I wonder how you get stuff back and forth. Like, well, I mean, they do have rockets that can come back.
Well, I mean, but
now,
can you imagine how much more expensive things would be, though? Because that's going to drive inflation, because there's a lot more overhead. Because now, not only is the business in space, you have to pay to transport all the materials to manufacture the product, transport the product back from the facility.
Whoa, though, because some of these things you could just mine asteroids to get. I mean, a lot of the metals that we mine out of the Earth and stuff, they're all throughout space.
Well, I mean,
you can just find an asteroid.
But there's just about everything we have has plastic in it. You can't mine plastic out of an asteroid. You would have
Plastic is made from oil. We're trying to get away from plastic.
Yeah.
This is a way to do that.
Maybe.
I mean, it's like I like the idea, but feasibly, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe not in our lifetime. It is just good that we're thinking about stuff like this. But I mean, like, there's space tourism is kind of on the horizon too. I mean, well, actually, not even on the horizon. It's just right now. It's just kind of only available for a certain tax bracket.
Oh man, I could see space tourism right now. That's like one of the first episodes of Futurama. We're whalers on the moon. We carry a harpoon. We tell tall tales because we don't have whales and sing this whaling tune. Look it up. I bet you that was correct.
I think
It is
probably
correct.
right. It sounded right. If you could get a ticket right now, would you go?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think I would either. Space scares me.
It looks extremely uncomfortable until you get to weightlessness. But yeah, I mean, it just looks terrifying. I mean, I'm scared to even get on a freaking jet at this point. I know that's completely irrational, but still, I'm afraid of heights.
That's not irrational. I'm afraid of planes too. So you want to put me on a mega plane, for lack of better terms,
That goes way higher
that's
and
going
actually leaves
to
our atmosphere.
shoot me out of our planet to who knows where, be it the moon or Mars or your anus. I don't know where you expect to go for this space tour. Is it like a cruise ship? Are we actually trying to manufacture Space Titanic? Is that what's happening now?
Well, the one that both Bezos and the other guy were on, just, I mean, like, picture you're an astronaut strapped into their seat, blasting off. But then once they get to a certain place, then they go completely weightless. And then they're able to kind of unstrap their belts and kind of float around the spaceship. And they look like they're having a blast. They were throwing ping pong balls around and stuff.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to go to have 0G, look out a window at stars that I can see from my backyard, and just float around like I can do in a swimming pool.
Pretty much. But the only thing, like, until space travel is, like, more comfortable than air travel, probably just go ahead and count me out. Plus, it's way out of my price range anyway at the moment. But the only thing that I think might be worth it to, like, actually go through all the stress and trauma that I would be going through to strap myself to a rocket like that is something called the overview effect.
Okay.
That a lot of astronauts kind of report when they come back to Earth after having seen the Earth from space. So I want to talk a little bit about that because that's the only thing that I could imagine would be actually worth going through all that.
Right.
So you get to see that the Earth is indeed flat.
That's what the whole thing is.
That's what this overview effect theory locomotion is all about.
I don't know. Well, let me tell you about it. So the overview effect is a cognitive shift in awareness. I'm reading from Wikipedia. Sue me.
Too.
Is a cognitive shift in awareness reported by some astronauts during spaceflight, often while viewing the Earth from outer space. So it's the experience of seeing firsthand the reality of Earth in space, which is immediately understood to be a tiny, fragile ball of life hanging in the void, shielded and nourished by a paper-thin atmosphere. From space, national borders vanish, the conflicts that divide people become less important, and the need to create a planetary society with the united will protect this pale blue dot, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it's basically like all these astronauts have had this experience. Or not, there's a lot of them that have reported such an experience that they had such a deep emotional like reaction to seeing the Earth, that they don't like really identify with any national like ideology, or like they don't see themselves as a citizen of the United States of America. They see themselves as like a person of Earth.
Mm-hmm. So they see Earth as a small, fragile ball of life in the insignificance of the cosmos. Correct?
Something like that,
I
yeah.
get that from my own freaking anxiety. Come on, man. I don't
Seriously?
need to go into outer space to feel that way.
I feel you on that. I really do. And like, yeah, I mean, you can understand that in a certain way. Sometimes, just like stargazing. Sometimes I'll get it. You know, just looking out into a non-light polluted sky and being able to see just like even more stars than you can normally see on a day.
Yeah, and you had to switch over to that stargazing after you got caught peeping into all those celebrity windows.
But but also, I mean, us standing here looking at the sky versus being in space can almost kind of compare to me as like looking at pictures of the beach your whole life, and then one day you actually get to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Like this is a whole nother level of that. And plus, like, people have this, so especially where we're from, like, it's this small community, like people that never leave this small, tiny little space. And anything outside of this small, tiny little space that does anything different than this small, tiny little space is doing it wrong, and it's bad because it's not what we're doing in our tiny little space. And if you go outside of your tiny little space, you notice there are most people doing different things than you're doing. And it's like, once you get outside of your entire planet, which is a small, tiny little space that we're all on, I could see where that is definitely
Right.
like on another level that we
puts
can't
things
possibly imagine.
in perspective, I guess you would
Yeah.
say, in a way that you can't probably fully imagine
Yeah,
unless you were to actually see it.
exactly.
But it's funny because I was reading about this today, and it lists like all these astronauts, Yuri Gagarin, I'm going to butcher some of these, Michael Collins, Ron Garan, you know, Edgar Mitchell. He's kind of a weird one. He got into some conspiracy stuff after his astronaut career. But then the very last one is Jeff Bezos. So apparently Jeff Bezos, they must have updated this just a couple days ago, because apparently he kind of claims to have had his overview effect experience as well.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Well, sure. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people that come back report like, "Oh my gosh, it was beautiful." But I think what the overview effect actually is something a little bit more powerful than just that. And like, not everybody has it, but many or enough to have to name it something like the overview effect. And there's like the University of Missouri actually tried to reproduce this effect using an isolation tank, some Epsom salts, and a VR headset.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of, it's a
gonna
sensory
work.
deprivation tank, essentially, is what that is.
And the feeling of weightlessness.
Right, because the salt makes
And
you
the
float
VR,
and
the
da-da-da-da.
VR of the Earth.
It's not about feeling where you are. It's about being where you are.
I think so,
And if
yeah.
you get into a tank, you're not going to have that. My entire life has changed because I just saw Earth from space. I just put on a VR headset and got to be weightless for a little while. Like, you can't duplicate it.
That's
Can
a
you? Did they?
simulation.
I don't know. We'd
Okay,
have
I
to look
didn't
into
know
that a
if
little
the
bit more.
results, like, were there,
But somebody also coined the term ultra view effect, which is like an intense sense of awe and wonder that astronauts have experienced viewing large star fields while in space.
Cool.
And it discussed the impact of some of the how it impacted their religious beliefs.
Oh, I'm sure.
These astronauts and
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think that would be the only thing that might make me want to go. I mean, and then you even run the risk of like, well, maybe I don't have that powerful of an experience.
Well, I like the idea that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are trying to, do more space exploration type things, the whole tourism thing and all these things, because, well, NASA doesn't do that anymore. They've lost their funding. And so it's really cool that somebody has picked up that mantle.
I think so too.
Even though that the whole stupid, just there's friction surrounding this issue. And I hate that fact, because it's something that should be done. Like I saw a meme the other day that's like, oh, these two men could end world hunger with the money that they're spending on this. That may be true, but you have no right to tell somebody how they spend their money. And they have chosen to pick up where NASA has left off to try to further our existence as a human race. You know, like possibly getting pollutants off the planet to allow it to heal. That is more important, in my opinion, keeping us around as a whole.
I agree. I mean, and they kind of call it the Jeff Bezos called it the barnstorming stage of space flight, private space flight. Much like it was for air travel. You had people going out in these like rickety old airplanes. You had people racing each other to get to this point. And as you have that happening, all this competition over the years, you start to develop better practices, and like somebody's going to get it right, So I mean, I think ultimately it's a good thing. I just can't imagine. Like today, I was just thinking about it, and I was like, the kids of tomorrow are going to just take burn routes to the moon.
Yeah,
and I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'm picturing like a Dazed and Confused, but like
they're going to do the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
yeah, they are.
But yeah, I don't know. The possibilities are probably somewhat predictable, I guess, because we're just now starting to get into all of that stuff. But there's just no telling what we could find ourselves getting into with all the space tourism stuff. Like, what if they can make a roller coaster that started out in space and like
came back?
I don't ride roller coasters.
Actually, there is like the space ladder idea, like where it would actually be like this physical structure that you would send things up in a ladder up to space.
I
It
don't
would save
climb
all
ladders either.
It would save like jet fuel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of heights and depths. We've been over this.
I'm not saying we have to get on it. You can just
I'm
put
not
the
getting
poop.
on it.
You can just put all the poop of the world on the elevator and send it up into space.
Are you saying that I can poop upwards?
You could poop into space. Shazam, I feel like you've been waiting to say something.
I'm trying to figure out how to make a joke about a lot of money and the name Bezos. And there's the only thing that's coming to mind is pesos. And I'm also getting I'm getting a little bit of a lull in my thought process on this, because like I feel like there are a lot of things that might be able to be taken care of by sending it out into space, but that was also covered on Futurama because
The trash.
because they send the giant trash ball in space, and they're like, "Oh my God, the trash ball's coming back! It's been sent up there." Well, why didn't they just send it to Uranus? Well, due to the amount of jokes made about that planet, the planet was officially renamed 50 years ago. What'd they call it?
Your rectum.
See, I want Bezos and Musk. I want one of them to be like, all right, I'm getting to space, longer and faster, and the other one be like, well, I'm gonna fix world hunger. Like, so it's like a race. They're like, okay, I'll race you. You race me by you going to space, and I'll race you by fixing world hunger with our accumulated ungodly amounts of wealth, and we'll both do good things, and we'll see who's the better of the two instead of,
They should both be
Space
required
Flight
to
Wars.
land when they come back to the same theme song. And that is going to be Fortunate Son, of course.
Of course.
But, that's the thing. Like, even though it seems like a lot of people's patriotic theme song, it's not at all. It's actually it's anti all things.
Yeah.
It's anti rich. It's anti privileged. It's anti it ain't me, son. So if it's
Tell a redneck that, they're going to get real upset.
The song was written during the Vietnam War. It was actually about the draft because
Close the door.
At the time, if you had the money, you could pay to get out of the draft, or if you was in school. And so they're saying, I don't have the money to get out of this. I'm not one of the fortunate ones. I'm not a senator's son. I don't have that money to get out of going to war. That's what the song's about. It's not America screaming eagles in that HHR under the hood. It's please don't send me to die. But you're going to, and I have no other choice.
Yep. One of these days, maybe we can record a podcast from space.
I would like to record a podcast in a different space first. You know, like we can get before we jump off world. Let's jump out garage, aka grape sack.
You mean one where the sweat doesn't run down our buttholes the whole time?
We're gonna get the ceiling insulated soon. It should be any weekend now. Okay, here we go. So, you know, it seems like one of those things that it makes you think. You know, they're up there. You know, they've got songs about it. They've got songs about the majesty of it up there. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. You know,
That's about drugs. That's
you know,
not
it's
about
Rocket
space.
Man, and so is that song by Noah Cyrus and Miley Cyrus called "I Got So High That I Saw Jesus." Mm-hmm. And that's one of my wife's favorite songs. And the thing is, though, she's listened to it so many times, much like many other songs in the past that have happened, that I start making up my own lyrics to it again. And this brings me to what I wanted my topic to be, and I wanted you all to kind of chime in on it, because you can nerd out over some good music and also some bad lyrics.
Yeah. Who the hell's Noah Cyrus?
That's her little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know. I was.
Oh yeah,
She's got
some
very
pipes.
she's got a very good voice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the song goes, I got so high that I saw Jesus. He said it's all going to be okay. You just need me in your heart, Tennessee whiskey and love. I got so high that I saw Jesus. Now, the thing is, I want somebody else to be around. Like, who else are you going to get up there and see, and what are they going to tell you? Is it going to be beneficial? Is it going to be something that's going to help you later on throughout your days? Or is it going to be just a complete, just what has happened? So instead of, I got so high that I saw Jesus, he said it's all going to be okay. Who did you see, and what did they tell you?
I got so high that I saw myself. And he said, you need to lay down. Your heart is racing out of your chest. You're not going to be okay. Everything is falling apart. You're scared. You need to be unconscious now. And little Tennessee whiskey, was that the other part?
Well, no.
Okay.
The other part was the bathroom floor. And
The bathroom floor. And the bathroom floor. Yeah. So
I
that's
got so
mine.
high that I hugged porcelain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's
I
fantastic.
smoked meth and saw Cthulhu.
The best part of waking
That's
up
not the
is cocaine in your butt.
That's not what we were talking about.
The best part of waking up is methamphetamine.
That's not at all what we were even talking about. I feel like we lost what we were talking about here. So,
Smoked meth and saw
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, he smoked meth and saw Cthulhu.
And who was yours?
Okay, see, I'm going to, on this DMT trip that we're all taking, I'm going to see Odin. Okay, not Odin from that book by Neil Gaiman, which was a fantastic book.
Yes.
And I'm blanking on the title right now.
American Gods.
American Gods, thank you. Not the Friday Odin, but like the Odin from Norse mythology. He's going to welcome me into Valhalla, hand me a horn of mead and an axe, and there's probably going to be a pretty lady, because there's 3 things that you do in Valhalla. You feast, you fight, you
And did you say Friday instead
It's
of
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, sorry.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Why
because
did I say
it's,
Friday?
I don't know.
Woden's Day.
Wow.
Well, yeah, well,
I was thinking faster, speaking faster than I was thinking.
Thursday is Thursday.
Truth.
yeah. And then Friday's the day that comes before Saturday, and Saturday's when I rest.
Saturday is Saturn's Day, I think.
Saturn is in Zeus? Because Zeus wasn't he Saturn?
What
I
about
think, well,
you?
no, Saturn was like a Roman god.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Me personally, I got so high that I saw Busey.
God. of course.
Dadgummit.
He said we should start a Creed cover band.
If you do the teeth
Scott
thing,
Stapp
you're,
is a
you're
is
gonna
a-
eat the cowbell.
Vampire.
He is. Scott Stapp is a vampire, and I got so high that I saw Busey. He said we're gonna start a Creed cover band. That's what he told me.
If you do the teeth sound, you're going to eat that Charlie.
Number one, I know a young child named Charlie, and I don't want to ingest this young child. So, what's Charlie stand for?
I'm talking about the Charlie that Frogman is holding. You can see it. It's in front of you.
Oh, that's what you call that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
The same Charlie that threw up in the cave.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, but yeah, because if you can imagine, Gary Busey in a Creed cover band, you could just greet it with just arms wide open. I mean, it would.
Pun.
Under the sunlight, welcome to this place.
Yeah, this like a Creed, but
I'm a Lion King.
I'll suck your blood right
I've got a
out.
mane.
gosh, do you remember those videos
Yellow
for the
coat.
like the misheard lyrics? Or
Oh my
something?
God, yes.
But then they had
Literal
then they had literal videos. That's what I was going to
Yes.
say. Yeah, that was a.
It's Armageddon. I need Bruce Willis.
Where
I'm not afraid of heights when I wear leather pants. My band is magic. Where did they come from?
I got you.
What was this?
It was a
literal video.
Oh my god! Because and there was also one point in that video where he said they just said something stupid just to line up with the shape his mouth was making in the video. Ooh,
Pee-pee, nana,
pee-pee,
blah.
nana, pee-pee, nana, blah.
Yeah.
Pee-pee, nana, blah, blah.
It's what it looks like I'm saying.
And that just gets to another point I'm wanting to make here. There's a second part of this topic, and then it comes into thinking of ways that we can have what we would consider. Well, here, first smack of the day, I think.
Daddy.
Oh, damn.
That got violent.
Oh, daddy.
I'd have said my safe word on that one.
Anyway, rutabaga. So we need to have an evil genius marketing campaign, and all it is a blank CD that we put in people's mailboxes, and it's not anything illegal. And I've looked it up. It is not anything illegal just to put a blank CD in somebody's mailbox because it is not tampering with the mail. It is not stealing. It is not altering anything inside of it. You are just giving them a blank CD. It is a gift, and all you need to write on it is "you might need this." The blank CD does nothing.
It has
but
nothing on it.
But on the back of "you might need this," is our card, and you scan a QR code, and it takes you to our podcast. The CD means nothing, but I want to scare them.
But couldn't we also?
Not really scare them, because that would be meaning to be a terrorist threat, because I don't want to scare anybody. I don't.
Put subliminal messages on the CD?
On the city.
On the CD?
On the subliminal so they could put it. Oh, what if we put the CD in there and the CD didn't have a song or anything on it?
It was just us talking in reverse.
Huh?
It would just be us talking in reverse.
Yeah, well, that could work. That could work, and then they'd have to reverse it, and then it would be,
Any
it'd be-
girlfriend in yet? That would have to be.
That was it. That was
Yeah,
it.
I know.
That's,
That's from the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've heard the song.
Yeah, it's Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott says that the girlfriend yet. That's the one. A lot of singing today. What does this have to do with me seeing myself when I did drugs?
Oh, it has nothing to do with it. I was just talking.
Dang.
I was wanting
Yeah,
to
I
say,
wanted to know what Cthulhu was going to do.
Yeah,
I don't
what's
know that.
Cthulhu
I mean,
gonna
that's up to
do?
you. If you wanted to talk about, what Cthulhu would say, I got so high I saw Cthulhu, or in your case, I smoked some meth and saw Cthulhu. He said, "Death to all the infidels," or something. I don't know.
He wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't.
No.
Well,
Is he more
Cthulhu
accepting
would
than
make you
that?
go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I smoked meth and saw Cthulhu. He said,
I mean, pretty much he would just break your mind.
Yeah.
Just knowing that he existed would just completely destroy your mind.
Yeah.
That's exciting though, because then you can just
You
just
can
be
just-
gone, man.
yeah.
Like you can just exist in that insanity.
It's like a get out of jail free card.
Kinda.
I
Yeah.
gotta poop real bad.
Oh no, we got to get out of here. Thanks for listening to us on Spotify and iTunes. Make sure you give us those 5 stars on iTunes, please, or Cthulhu will come and destroy our minds.
and make sure if you're in a hurry to go to the bathroom that you're going to get on your phone and you're going to get onto Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and look up at Nerd Grapevine. And if you wanted to get onto Patreon and go to Best Friends, Tiny Ink, on there and subscribe. You could donate a little bit, and you'd get a free Nerded Through the Grapevine sticker, and you might be able to hear stuff that we have said before in other episodes, but you haven't heard it because it's made it onto the cutting room floor. It's some lost footage that we might not be able to play anymore, and it might be too much. It might cause a little bit of
discord, because sometimes when you expel gas from your rectum, you get rid of your air buffer, and it causes discord within your bowels. So get on our Discord, Nerd Through the Grapevine Podcast. It's a public server. We got a meme channel. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Get on there. Become part of the Backyard Bonanza. All the grapes are there. You can talk to us live, uncut, and uncensored. It's awesome. Do it.
And that brings us to the point in the episode to where we ask the question that's been plaguing everyone's mind for the past week, and that's going to be, Marcus, when life gives you grapes,
You just blast them off into space.
as long as they're on the bottom of the rocket, because then they belong.
It is.
Because it looks like a pee-pee.
Because you got your shafel,
Pee-pee.
you got your shafel and your gray boys.
Would it have that prime shipping?
The grapes are the balls.
Yeah, they are.
And that's all, folks.